Asslamu Alaikum everyone. I hope you are doing well. My name is Nasir Uddin. I live in Bangladesh. I am professional pattern maker. So today we will be learn how to draft a ground pattern. Measurement: length 43, size 40 inch, waist 34 inch, sweep 52 inch, shoulder 15 inch, neck width 7 inch, back neck deep 1.5 inch, front neck deep 5 inch, waist placement 15 inch. Thanks for watching. Like, share, comment on this video, subscribe my channel, click bell icon button for next video. First I draw here ground back part. After that finish make front part. Now here drawing shoulder and back neck line, shoulder and back neck line, back neck width 7 inch, half 3.5 inch, half inch reduced for seam allowance, back neck deep 1.5 inch, back neck underline, drawing back neck round line, shoulder slope 1.5 inch, shoulder width 15 inch, 15 half, 7 half inch seam allowance, 8 inch, shoulder slope 1.5 inch, and shoulder line, drawing shoulder line, armhole deep says 14 inch divided by 4, 1.25 inch, 1 inch less, 9 inch, chest and armhole baseline, waist position 15 inch, half inch down seam allowance, waist baseline. Here I extend ground length 43 inch, ground length 1 inch seam allowance, 8 inch down from waist seam, waist baseline 8 inch down, ground slit line and hip line, drawing hip baseline, neck and shoulder line, shoulder neck half back neck width and back neck round, chest and armhole baseline, waist line, hip line. Now says 14 inch divided by 4, 10 inch, half inch seam margin, waist 34 divided by 4, 8.5, 1 inch, back waist dart allowance, side seam line, armhole baseline to waist line, drawing back armhole line 9.5 inch, 9 inch, half 4.5 inch, half inch down, chest line and mid back line, middle armhole line, back armhole line, drawing back armhole line. Now here drawing bottom and hip sweep line, bottom hip and bottom line, bottom and sweep with 52 divided by 4, 13 inch, half inch seam margin, drawing ground back side seam line, back point, back bottom 1 inch up and side seam and bottom point line, 13 inch divided by 2, half mid 2 and side point, cut line bottom shape, ground side seam line 1 inch up to bottom hem from side seam, from bottom hem line, half inch seam allowance, make here back waist dart line 9 inch, half 4.5, back waist dart 2 inch down, dart in line from armhole base line, dart length 10 inch, dart deep half inch, 1 inch. Dart seam line. The finishing up back part, ground back part, drawing finishing up. Now I start cut from here. I added 1 inch seam margin at ground bottom hem, 1 inch seam margin, bottom 1 inch seam margin, adding seam allowance, half inch seam allowance, half inch seam mark. Here I added 381 cm seam allowance at back neck seam and shoulder seam line. .38 seam mark. Before I added and mark, now showing seam allowance. Seam margin, adding and showing finishing up. Now I start cut the back part, ground back part cutting. Here I cut, drawing outside line. Now here I make copy front block pattern for front part, make copy from back part front block pattern, and after designing make final cutting, final front cutting pattern, front board skirt and bottom block pattern. Create seam allowance, adding at block, front block, cut front block pattern. For cutting finish, make ground front final cutting pattern. This part only front bottom block part. After finishing, make final cutting pattern. Now here front block pattern, copy from back final cutting pattern. Before I make front waist line, front armhole and chest base line, front waist dart line, front waist seam line, front waist dart, front top U block pattern. Here I make front neck deep 5 inch, front neck underline, front neck line, neck round line. Here I added 2 inch for bust losing, 2 inch bust side dart seam allowance line, 1 inch waist dart, front waist dart seam deep line, 2 inch bust losing and 2 inch side bust dart allowance, seam allowance. Dart cut front top ground part, ground front top part, top block pattern, 9.5 inch armhole deep line, half 3/4 inch, half inch inside for front armhole line, front armhole line. Now here make front design, front shoulder 5 inch, half 2.5 inch. Make a line slash line. This seam that seam line to and shoulder midline. Now cut front bar side that line. And cut front waist that line and join front bust side line. Make side seam a straight line. Again recut the front slash line. Here I take another paper board, making for front top. Take another paper and make ground front final cutting pattern and drawing center front line, and take front block pattern. Before I make and center front bottom line, center front, cut center front line on front block pattern. Make for 1 inch slash final cutting pattern, 1 inch slash at bottom front U bottom line. One side front neckline and shoulder 2 inch slash and front waist dart line, front block pattern and 2 inch slash front dart line, 2 inch slash and front middle dart line. Before 1 inch front dart seam allowance and 2 inch slashing, total 3 inch slash and front bust allowance, bust losing, front ground front block pattern looking and adding bust losing, final looking, and make folding. Cut the ground front top front part. Adding seam allowance. Before I add, and now I showing seam allowance. Front ground final cutting pattern, ground front final cutting pattern, final looking, and this bust losing, and this seam on seaming time, this close, this one bust losing. Now here slash front skirt slash line, same as a front part, front waist 4.5 side seam to that seam line 4/4 half. Now here make second slash line, cut and slash 1 inch slash and front waist that 2 inch slash, ground front skirt slash line cutting for final cutting pattern. Make here I take another new paperboard for S ground front skirt part. Make center front 1 inch slash and mark bottom same 2 inch waist dart seam line to slashing line 2 inch and 1 inch second slash line 1 inch 2 inch second slash line. Drawing a skirt front skirt bottom line. Here I issuing center front slash half 1 inch, half side 1 inch and front waist dart line 2 inch and second slash line 2 inch heading. Center front slashing line, center front waist dart slashing line, second slashing line, green line, cut front, bottom skirt pattern, final cutting pattern. And here I added some curve line. Here I added some side seam curve line. Front block pattern before I make slash styling line and side seam line, center front line. Now here mark bottom seam allowance before I added 1 inch. Now I showing seam allowance, bottom hem 1 inch seam allowance, waist seam line 3/8 seam allowance before I added, and now showing also side seam before I added, side seam allowance before I added. Now I mark and showing seam allowance, ground front skirt final looking cutting pattern, final looking front bottom skirt cutting pattern and front part final looking cutting pattern, bust losing center front before I make styling, skirt also same, front skirt losing same as a top part same line and side seam also same line. After joining side seam line and skirt front part line, skirt center front line, front waist front skirt waist seam line and front top seam line seam. After seaming this one gathering, tearing line and gathering line, this seam line and bust losing. Now here I make armhole facing, front armhole, back armhole facing, inside facing 2 inch width armhole, front armhole facing cut 2 piece. Here back armhole facing, inside facing 2 inch same as the front part, front facing, back and front armhole inside facing with 2 inch, back cut 2 piece, front cut 2 piece, back armhole inside facing 2 piece, front neck inside Q facing, inside facing cut piece 2 inch width, front inside facing 1 piece cutting, 1 piece interlining, 1 piece out shell fabric, front inside, front hip line, back neck inside 2 inch height same as the front, 3/8 center back seam allowance, back neck inside U cut 2 piece, back neck U shell part cut 2 piece, fusing cut 2 piece, 3/8 seam allowance, 9 inch center back deeper length, center back opening 9 inch deeper length, 9 inch center back deeper length, ladies ground back part final cutting pattern, back U at neck, back neck U 2 piece final cutting pattern, ground front top part final looking and cutting pattern, front U cut 1 piece out shell fabric and fusing 1 piece, front armhole cut 2 piece, fusing 2 piece, back armhole inside facing out shell 2 piece and fusing 2 piece, ground bottom skirt final looking and cutting pattern. Thanks for watching. Like, share, comment on this video, subscribe my channel, click bell icon button for next video.